Yeah, I'm like, I
Well, it's just-
literally gotta get.
What do you get?
I'm a procrastinator.
Not you.
The shiny part.
You're just
Now I gotta get it done.
you're just the BS.
That is the-
You don't procrastinate. You just.
So I went over to the county building, I hit the button for the elevator.
Are we live in living color on
It started
YouTube?
coming out, there's these two little twins, and they kept saying, come play with us, Red Rum, that's so weird.
He is, he's the documents printing. He'll be here momentarily.
The only reason I have mine is I made a couple of notes.
have my mic.
Thank you. You got it. All right. It's after 10, so should we start? So Commissioner Williams is not going to join us. And let's see. Got 2 online. Cool. Okay. Just to remind everybody that this countywide administrative discussion meeting is online, so let's please make sure we're not using the names of staff or any otherwise protected information when we have these conversations, just because it is public information. So just as a reminder for all of us. I know sometimes when we get into the details, it's easy to accidentally mention a staff member, so we just want to be thoughtful about that. So, Commissioner Korn, would you like to, anything you'd like to update folks on before we move to the?
I don't have much. I just got back from vacation, as some of you might know. I would highly recommend it to anyone that has not had one for a while. But no, I'm working hard on PhD stuff. In fact, I'll be going down to the ICC meeting on Wednesday to help discuss about their budget. Getting involved with the budgets because I haven't been here for the last week or so. So just looking forward to getting caught up and letting all my liaisons, the departments that I'm liaison with, let them know that I'm back and I'm available and lean on me for whatever you need. We're here for you. The way I look at it is our jobs as commissioners are for the department, as far as our departments go, is it's our job to help our departments do better. We should be used as a tool to help our departments when they have questions or issues, and we should be able to help them, not hang them out to dry. So it should be a working relationship.
Absolutely.
So, thanks.
Okay. And I'll be brief. You heard me talk in the past about my desire to start a building condition survey countywide for all of the facilities that we own. And that desire has not gone away, but the reality of other schedules and priorities has finally set in for me as a new commissioner, and with Board of Equalization and budgets and everything else going on with planning considerations for the comp plan and those things. The reality is the start of that will be far later than I had hoped. So at this point, I've reset my expectations, and we'll be talking more with facilities and risk in order to see if we can come up with an agreed process approach and actually start working on that after we get through the budget cycle, in the hopes that we can actually have some viable information to present to the county as budgets are being developed next year. So, again, just also want to reiterate my thanks to everybody, all the different electeds and department heads who are, and supporting staff who are helping us through this little different approach to the budget process. Appreciate everybody taking the time to add in the details, answer questions, move things around into categories on budget lines that are more applicable. so that we can use common sense to track the data and be able to look back in the future and understand why something was off or shifted or didn't meet our expectations. So I think it's been a good exercise so far. I know I've been learning a lot more about what you guys have been seeing historically in your budgets through this process, because we're actually asking simple questions and talking through it. And so I value that. So it's been a good educational tool for me. And then beyond that, again, right now, focuses for me are going to be primarily on getting up to speed with the Board of Equalization, continuing through the budget process. And then also, we are going to be working on a workshop in the near future here to talk about potential changes to our county code associated with cell tower placement within the county because of what this legislature did this past session and new laws coming to effect July 1st. And then also the comprehensive plan proposing some suggested modifications to what we have before us right now as the board for the board's consideration. For those who may be interested and impacted in some way but haven't heard, the board's decision on the comp plan land use component is pushed out to August to allow some time for that process to play out because of the fact that we have BOEs and budgets continuing to be worked on over the next 2 months. So the highlights that I have. So from there, we should be able to move into the other electives.
If I may.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Don't need to apologize. It's my fault.
I didn't
forgot.
notice the. Go ahead.
Something that we discussed back in November, I'm gonna guess, was the Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, day off. I don't know if you sat in on that meeting or not.
I did, yeah. I was in the
And we were
audience.
discussing going back and forth, maybe substituting that for Juneteenth. And it's probably not enough time to get that accomplished. You were opposed to taking Juneteenth, I think, and if I remember correctly, yeah, no.
In reality, I would.
Because it's the day before the last day of collecting taxes to
Yeah,
close.
I would prefer to
just be open.
That's just because of the tax collection part.
And I don't think there's enough time to discuss that today, but if anybody has strong feelings one way or the other, maybe to shoot the board an email and let us know if you guys would rather work Juneteenth and take the day after Thanksgiving off, because that conversation just kind of got dropped. Recalling, and the only thing that brought it up was this June now, so.
Gotcha.
Throw that out there. Do you have a question?
Is there an Idaho law that governs the minimum number of days off you can give us? You could just make Black Friday a day off. Call it a goals day. Many governmental agencies reward their employees with goals days. Throwing ideas out there, guys.
Thank you, sir. I don't know. We can look into that.
Sounds like an email you could send with a suggestion
I don't think
for Commissioner Corn's request.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
I just want to say, whatever the outcome is of that, I definitely think, we need to just make a decision because Thanksgiving will be here
Yep.
again, before we know it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go through this, everybody wants the day after Thanksgiving off. It's a time. So with family and, Black Friday shopping and all that good stuff. So, anyway, we just need to make a decision.
So is it a general consensus? Would you guys like me to look into seeing what it would take to go ahead and change this? So that we can work on that this week?
Always take PTO off the day after Thanksgiving anyway.
Would you not like to take PTO and actually have it off?
I take it.
Either way.
I think
Jason?
what makes it hard is I can't let my whole staff go just if it's an option. I can't close the whole department down. That's right when our tax bills are getting ready to go out. It either has to be we're closed as a building, or we're not having, so. So if we switch a day, to me, it doesn't really matter what day we switch, if that's the route we went with it. It would be nice to be open on Juneteenth, just because of how it falls with tax collection. I know it would make taxpayers probably happier that we're not closed the day right before taxes are due. But whether we switch with Columbus Day, I know the city of Sandpoint is closed the day after Thanksgiving and they work Columbus Day. That's what they chose to do many years ago. So.
Okay.
So I met with the board not too long ago, and I'll be bringing a resolution forward to the board for Road and Bridge, and that was to have the Road and Bridge equipment operators, the actual staff that's out there working the holidays, to have that as a floater holiday. And what we were looking at is Christmas Eve was going to be a floater holiday because they never get it off. They have to work Christmas Eve every year to even have an opportunity to possibly get Christmas morning off. So we're going to make that a floater holiday for those employees only, but not for my staff in the admin building. So our staff would stay working or stay open on that day. It would just be the Road and Bridge crews that would be taking that off. So that is going to be coming forward in the future here.
Sorry, I wasn't tracking whether or not folks had microphones, so let's try to get back to
I have my own, thank you very much.
Has his name on it.
As a man, Dennis Engelhardt, Assessor, Bonner County. I don't believe that there's a statute that state statute that regulates how many days that commissioners can give up. That's up to you guys, I think. The only thing you need to take into consideration, if you give more than the 12 that you already do, the cost to the county. There is a cost to giving that off. But as far as the days that we have, I think it's within your power to take Columbus and Juneteenth and make them floating holidays. And I think you could do that at any time, you know. Ideally, it would be the first of the year so that you could take that, but you still have time to deal with it as far as June 13th if you wanted to make both of them floating holidays. As far as the day after Thanksgiving, anyone in my office that wants to take PTO, and that's like 100%, will be given it, and we'll be giving notice months before then that the office will be closed. That'll be a day that we are closed, and everybody will be taking off. The exception, which I don't know is going to happen, is if someone has no PTO to take off, they may be there doing some staff work or something like that, but the office will be closed, and we'll give the public plenty of notice on that.
Okay.
I have a question. So is the issue that we don't want the county offices closed on the day after Thanksgiving? Or I guess I'm not sure, because it's hard to deny people to take their PTO because they've earned it. But I understand having closed offices and the securities and some offices being open that they can't close. So I guess I'm a little confused. What is our end goal here? To keep the building open all the time?
I think our end goal is to be consistent and to be open. One of the concerns was with the treasurer's office having to be open to collect taxes and money and everything while most of the building was closed.
Right.
And it provides a security issue. So if we could be consistent on what days we're open and what days we're closed, if we're closed across the board, then I think it would address a lot of the issues.
We could just move treasurer's office down to the lobby because nobody comes in here except for these guys. Just kidding.
I think Jake would disagree. Okay, so I will look into this week, see if we can get that changed or what our options are, and I can throw that.
Can I say something? This is Charlene at the courthouse.
Please go ahead.
Oh, so just when you're making your decisions, just remember that if the Supreme Court says we're open, we're open. So we are open after the day after Thanksgiving, regardless of how many people want to take PTO is irrelevant. We have to be here. I know they have Juneteenth on our calendar as a holiday for us. I don't know how that affects us as county workers, but any day that's not on the court calendar, we have to be here. So it's not going to be an option for us if you guys make the day after Thanksgiving a holiday. We have to be open legally.
Gotcha. And some departments are like that. I
Yeah.
mean, the sheriff's office can't close,
Yeah.
right?
It just, I know in the past when, for example, when we lost our personal day, and all of a sudden the county decided that Christmas Eve would be a holiday, you know, the people at the courthouse were like, well, that's not fair because we have to be here on the Christmas Eve. If it falls on the day of the week that it's a weekday, we have to be here. It's not a holiday for us. So they felt like they were gypped out of time off because a personal day because we have to be open. So I'm just, and I know you're not going to please everybody all the time. I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that when you're making decisions, that there's a lot of people can be affected negatively and it makes for disgruntled employees sometimes. So.
And I appreciate your input because that's why I brought it up at today's meeting.
Right. Yeah. So.
Yeah, appreciate the awareness. That's good for us to take into account.
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna suggest that your plan of follow-ups and then so that we can get through all of the electeds and departments
Yep.
within our hour, we can continue this conversation at whenever it gets scheduled next. So Assessor Engelhardt, you're first on the list.
Thank you. Assessments have gone out and we're prepared to do inquiries. We still have one appraiser vacancy and one data entry clerk vacancy. Both have been posted. We are currently working with legal and IT on a contract for Coeur d'Alene MLS with hopes of concluding it in the next few weeks. I have issued 2 policies relative to the use of AI by assessor employees, one regarding ChatGPT and other like programs, and the other regarding the potential future use of AI in the appraisal process.
Would you mind sharing that with the board? I'd love to see. I think it's a pertinent conversation
Yeah, no
for
problem.
the county as a whole to be considering, and I'd love to see where you're at with that.
Yeah, I've sent it to legal, IT, HR, and risk management, and they've all approved it. And I'll be doing a press release this week on it. And I'll send you I'll send all 3 of you a copy of it.
And do we have anybody for Clerk Rosedale today? Okay, we can all review what he wrote in the Google document. Anybody from the prosecutor's office today?
Corner.
Oh, did I skip over the corner? I did, I'm sorry. Corner beers online? No one for coroner's office, okay. Sheriff's office, anybody here to represent the sheriff today? No. Treasurer Coster.
Morning. So happy to report we didn't take any properties to tax deed this year, so that was pretty exciting that we didn't have anybody lose their properties to the county. And also there won't be a tax sale this summer, so we don't have to do either one of those this year, so we're pretty happy about that. And then just our office is starting to get really busy with the second half taxes. They're due June 20th, so that's what we'll be doing the next few weeks.
Thank you, Treasurer. We have Mr. Shook, no? Okay, no airports today. How about assistance or elections? Don't give Jason the microphone ahead of time, that's dangerous.
All right, so nothing going on with assistance. Elections, we just wrapped up the May consolidated election, had our canvass on Thursday. So now we get to put everything away from the election. Everything comes back and it's like a tornado hit our office, and we reorganize it and get started again for November. Only other thing, we're continuing to train our newest team member and cross-training the others in the department, so that's what we're up to.
Thank you. Could you pass that back to Veronica, please? Commissioner's office.
Okay, the commissioners are going into a very busy season right now with BOEs and budgets. A lot of our meeting time is already scheduled, so please be patient with us as we try to plan meetings if you need something with our office. Staffing issues, we do have a new hire, so we will be fully staffed coming June 16th. So I'm pretty happy about that. Back to the budgets again, we're in the thick of budget process, about halfway done. And I personally feel, and I think the commissioners too, that everybody's done a really good job stepping up to the different way of doing budgets and presenting lots of cuts and different ways to do things. So we are really appreciative of that. We'll be training a new team member, so please be patient with us and her as we get her up to speed. And just a reminder that our interior doors to remain locked, and please ring the bell if you need to come into our office to meet with staff or the commissioners. I want to thank technology. I don't know if anybody's here, but they're always very helpful to us with our meetings and training to get us up to speed with Zoom and other software needs, so thank you for that. And our long-range plans are, we're hoping to keep a full staff for the foreseeable future. That seems to be a problem lately, but we're hoping this new team member and Lisa and myself will be here for a while to keep everything running as smoothly as possible. The BOCC is asking that all departments and elected officials, this is for the meeting, the business meeting for our memos. So we're asking that you use the business meeting template for the memos when we're doing reviews. Please seek legal risk and auditing approval for each of your items prior to submitting them to the clerks. Some departments are marking these items as not applicable when in fact they are applicable and need pre-approval. Some are removing them entirely. The agenda items will not be accepted without appropriate approvals. Property inventory and some contracts need risk approval due to insurance needs and risk evaluation. If you are spending money, you will need auditing approval, and if your item is a contract or has legal concerns, please seek legal review. So thanks for understanding.
Courts, Charlene.
Good morning. We're humming along. Unfortunately, we lost a staff member last Friday, and it looks like over this past weekend, we lost another one due to a family emergency, so we're down 3 clerks again. We can't seem to catch a break, but everybody's pulling together and doing the best they can to fill in the gaps. It's been pretty busy over here.
It sounds like it. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Emergency management. I don't see Bob online. EMV. Oh, did I skip another one? I'm sorry. Jolene, I skipped EMV.
Jolene's not here.
Okay.
We have one vacancy for a clerk position that we posted and are trying to recruit for. We just received the final report. We had a workplace environment safety study done for both the offices. That's in, and we'll be looking at the recommendations on that report and see what we can do to mitigate the concerns.
And now that I'm not ahead of myself, emergency management, but I don't see.
I think he's on vacation.
Okay.
I don't see anybody here.
And Spencer, engineering, not online. Next is extension office, Jennifer.
Good morning. Things here are going well. We've had several 4-H events. This past Sunday, our 4-H program coordinator was at our sheep and goat weigh-in. We also had our swine pig weigh-in in May of last month. And we've had some gardening classes, and the master gardeners and myself have been very busy answering a lot of questions coming into our office. We are interviewing for our seasonal position this week, so hopefully that will work out well. Other than that, I have obtained 2 more quotes for copy machines that we're looking for the next fiscal year. So although they don't seem to be very much cheaper or less expensive, unfortunately. But other than that, everything's going well here.
All right, thank you. Fairgrounds, do we have Mark? No? Okay. GIS, Mike.
Morning. I don't have a whole lot to report to you guys. We've just got some internal data projects going on. The aerial imagery is almost, the collection of that is almost complete. There's some early access. The oblique imagery early access is available within the web apps. So if you choose on the date selector early access, you can see the new oblique imagery as it comes in.
I don't think we have anybody from HR. Justice Services.
We hire a new director of HR?
We have not. More to come on that. Mr. Stoltz, I believe, is on vacation today. Oh, thank you.
Jeffers. I'm here covering for Ron. We don't have anything else to add besides what he put here. Aside from, I did notice that he put that the camera upgrade, the phase 1 is complete, and we're getting ready to start phase 2. This is our security system. And then we're just waiting for the BOCC approval, and that is on the agenda for June 10th. So that was all.
Thank you. And noxious weeds.
Okay, so call volume has been pretty high, and doing control recommendations and noxious weed management advice with landowners and citizens, and doing site evaluations with them and assisting and helping them calibrate their herbicide application equipment. And I expect that to continue through June as far as the volume is concerned. And then on top of that, I've got a lot of the operational framework laid out for our early detection, rapid response noxious weed projects. So the main ones of focus in June will be for Scotch broom and ragwort and yellow flag iris. And then for staffing, I'll be getting acquainted with the contractor who's going to be carrying out the roadside noxious weed maintenance operations this year. So we'll be having a pre-work conference to go over all the ins and outs of that task, and we'll get him lined up to get going on that towards the end of the month. And then as far as education, I don't have anything on the docket on the receiving end, but as far as providing, I'm still on the IACC conference agenda in Coeur d'Alene for this Thursday, and not sure if that works with your guys' schedule with the budget workshops, but hopefully we'll see you or some of you. But that'll be happening 9 Thursday morning. And then later in the month on the 26th, I'll be teaching a class for the Idaho Master Naturalist Ponder A chapter. It'll include a classroom presentation and a walkabout on the grounds at the Water Life Discovery Center looking at specimens. That portion's also open to the public, so that's what I got.
Thank you.
Do you know if 2,4-D has an expiration? Does it go bad?
There's not an actual expiration on any herbicide, but best management practices for storage is to keep them in a dark place. So UV degradation is big when it comes to herbicides. So as long as you have it stored in a shed, away from sunlight, I mean, you're good to keep it stored indefinitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, planning.
Got a couple of things going on with the planning department. Just things to be aware of. You have 2 reconsideration and 1 appeal hearing in the next month, I think through June. 2 of those you've heard before. 1 is a new item before this board. It's a remand from a previous court decision. And then we have as Commissioner Downey mentioned, the implementation component and the land use component will be workshopped, I believe, this month, if we can get it on your guys' calendar. The calendar's a little full. And then hearing in August for those. Additionally, we have the area of impact hearing. That's 2 weeks from today. So I'll be getting staff reports to you guys by next Monday. We'll have 7 hearings that one day, and it sounds like a lot. A lot of it is rinse and repeat. So you'll see in the staff report the analysis against state statute, which was changed last year. So it's a new code. So good thing you have lots of free time. You can review all this information I'll give you. Staffing personnel, we're fully staffed again. We had one opening that was filled pretty quickly. We have our budget workshop tomorrow with the board. I think it was moved from last week. So I sent you a spreadsheet. I'll go through and do an update for the end of June now that I have new data through the end of the month to give you a more updated version of what I gave you last week. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else.
Thank you. Public Works, Ted?
Well, I'm happy to say that the remodel of the second floor women's bathroom has been completed. We are now ADA compliant, and I don't know, I can just go out in there and stand and stare at it forever. It's beautiful. It's not that horrific yellow color. It's just normal now. But kudos to my staff for getting that done. And as far as the savings for the county, we spent less than $3,000 for all the supplies in there. And I was doing a little bit of figuring, and had we had a contractor come in, it would have been about a $15,000, $20,000 endeavor and cost to the county. So kudos to my staff for being able to do that.
Yes, our thanks to them.
So,
Heard a lot of good things. I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot of good things.
well, we could always give tours. As far as staffing and personnel, I do have ongoing issues still, and I am still short-staffed. I'm hoping by the time I come back next month for our get-together, I can say I'm fully staffed and everything is taken care of. Keep fingers crossed. My budget is looking great, and I want to, I don't know how everybody else feels, but I think the process on how the budget is being done is awesome, and it makes us as directors and electeds really look at what we're doing. And I mean, I know a lot of them do that already, but this really makes you dive in and know it front and back. And I think it's been a great experience. So thank you for the change. And that was nice.
Thanks for the feedback, Teddy. I just want to say too that it's not even a matter of, I believe that there's a lot of knowledge that goes into the development because you guys know what you've done in the past and where you need to make changes. But it's awesome when your head knowledge starts to come out in print so that everyone else can start to see and understand, and then we can ask relevant questions and have a good discussion about it. So,
absolutely, because it's a lot easier to keep it locked up here and not put it on paper.
Yeah, it's nice to have the institutional knowledge where it's available across the organization so that we can all learn from it. And
so my department, we do have our monthly training, safety programs. It's the second Tuesday of every month. We're great for technology. As far as I know, I have no disputes or contentious issues that I'm aware of. Other than that, I was really not prepared for today. My head has been wrapped around budget, so that's what you get. Thank you.
thank you. Parks and Waterways, Matt.
All right. Major achievements, like I said, still riding the coattails of the maintenance crew for doing 14 pallets of concrete by hand down at Garfield Bay. So just really thankful. Like literally, they never complained the entire time. They had a game plan, really needed very little oversight throughout that entire process. And then on my end as the director, just closing out the grants with the state, which is grants are a beast. And when your program runs on grants, it's a lot to handle. And then that's kind of also why I'm bringing up with staffing and personnel is I submitted an enhancement for a full-time assistant. Is I'm realizing the amount of reaching out I need to accomplish what needs accomplished is having a person who, as you've heard Commissioner Williams say, I have not the largest budget, but the most complicated budget in the county. And just realizing like what that really means to manage a program like that. And historically, this county has been burning through Parks and Waterways directors. And instead of continuing that trend, is realizing how do we make this program sustainable? And I think that would be a huge help would be to have a full-time kind of assistant, a higher level assistant, a coordinator, kind of like somebody that's a little bit higher up to help administer grants and then the field operations, because it's kind of hard to find money, run the crew, manage all the meetings with the state, and be one guy. At the flip side, it's like the grooming program, you'd think hypothetically is only 3-4 months a year, but the reality is with equipment repairs, scheduling, and maintenance, and everything else, it's that grooming program is almost a 9-10 month program. And then same thing with waterways is like, I think as a county, we need to recognize that we have 2 of the largest lakes in Idaho, and that program is a beast in itself as well. And then on top of that is what a lot of folks don't realize is the complexity of the budget is like, as I'm trying to forecast user fee-based programs, is I'm not trying to make decisions about my budget for the check that's going to pay for my program this July. As I'm doing this budget in May, I'm trying to forecast user fees that are coming in July of 2026. So it's a really complicated program. Currently, we're a backwards paying program, so we're basically just hemorrhaging debt, hoping that we made good predictions, and that's not great, because I've learned a lot of other counties don't do it that way. So what we need to do is we need to become a forward-paying program, so when the check comes in July to the state, is we get that check and we can do some last-minute checks and balances, and when we get that check, we use that money to move forward the following operating year, not to pay for the debt we already took on. And that's, I don't know if other directors figured that out or realized it was a problem and didn't have the support to make it that way, but like, that's another big thing. The other thing is, as far as needs from BOCC, is we worked through Dog Beach pretty quick. That wasn't too hard. We're still with the fairgrounds playground. The hard thing is we've been kicking this can down the road since December of who's going to manage this thing. And unfortunately, when it has the word fairgrounds and park on the sign, that overgoes. So I know I talked with Mark, and he's taken direction from his board, and the amount of complaints and phone calls I get over this lack of decision being made for who's taking this over is not fun when the fingers are being pointed at you. So that's kind of a bummer. So I talked with Corn, we worked through what our game plan is as far as, hey, like just out of safety and health concerns, we'll become the sink strainer of the county and go out and just take care of it. So the guys went out on Friday, luckily had a couple hours to rake the hayfield out there, and hope for the best. So we'll be selling bales soon to help fund our program.
I thought you were setting up a maze.
Yeah, exactly. It's the way it looks. But we really got to start making decisions a little bit quicker on things that are just so trivial, where it's like, me and Mark don't care who takes care of this park. We don't care. We just need the money and allocations to do it. So I put together a memo for not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, just with like a really, at best, spitball price estimate to help take care of this park the rest of the year. That'll buy you guys more time to make a decision long term. But like, as the grass continues to grow, decisions need made. And then same thing with Bonner Park West, where it's like, now we're in our heyday of the year as a manager of this program. It's tough to move forward with what needs done for our parks when we still don't even know if we're giving our parks away. And then the same thing is like, if we're giving our parks away, we really need to be talking to our directors about this who deal with this. Is like, there's a contentious issue with the state where Bonner Park West, although we could change custodianship possibly, is that park was built on a land and water conservation fund, which is through the feds, and that was to have water access in a park into perpetuity. So Bonner County is the custodian of that perpetuity. So to give something away that is Bonner County's only asset to the city of Priest River, it has a high value. And like the idea that was even being voted on with A, not consulting me, and B, not understanding how that park was built. And then I talked with Jeff Conley, and he said basically their plan was, I don't know if it was, the words were bulldoze the park, but was to at least turn it into a marina. And so that's going to change the use of that perpetuity, whether that becomes a money-making avenue or whatever. So like there's a lot of complexities where it's like, I'm trying to run my program and I just keep getting railroaded, and it is difficult. And I'm extremely thankful is like working through the budget process. Jess and crew, amazing, awesome, so thankful, especially working through that grant closeout, pretty stressful. Same thing with like, shout out to Road and Bridge. We're always leaning on them for equipment, and that's like part of that 5-year plan where we're talking like, what's the appetite for the county is for a rec program. It's like, we need equipment. Like, I can write all the grants in the world to take care of other people's land, but if we can't take care of ourselves in-house, then what are we doing? So, yeah, huge shout out, Road and Bridge. Thanks for your equipment time. Same thing, working with Teddy and Tom and veterans is like, I have to lean on them a lot to accomplish my program. And it's because we split an assistant, Tom pays more of the fair share. But it's just realizing is like the same time that I need phone calls answered is the same time that veterans need Tom's help. And Carrie's the face of that, Tom's the face of that, and that's not really fair to put on to Carrie. And so that's just the realization is like, I need more help in this program. And same thing with like Teddy helping us with supplies and just advice on, you know, coming from the facility standpoint, just like, well, this is what I would do. And it's like, that's great. But just kind of come to a realization is like, these are some of the needs I have is like, we need quicker decisions on the trivial things. We need more communication. And yeah, just a better understanding of Parks and Waterways is like the dream world of what Parks and Waterways is, and then what it is in reality. And so that's all I have.
I think you can drive it.
I heard they're expensive.
No, it might break. So it's good to bring forward ideas and concerns, right? How do we resolve issues? We have brought forward. So good, you know, don't be afraid to bring forward concerns, frustrations, issues that need to be resolved. So great. Recorder's office, I don't see Cindy. Risk management, Christian's not online. Late day.
And then, ta-da.
And all of a sudden, Jason had a microphone in his hand. It's Road and Bridge.
I'm not gonna drop my mic, I love it. I don't wanna break it.
Oh, you need it next week.
I need it. I need it this week too. So Road and Bridge is in our busy part of the season. Right now I've got 4 RFP rankings that I gotta have out this afternoon, which I'm about halfway done with, so this meeting is kind of taking a little bit. Any rate, moving on.
Well, you're trying to make us feel bad or something.
A lot of road projects going on. They're up on the East River right now, paving that. They'll be moving over to substation cut off tomorrow afternoon. So we should be seeing that get wrapped up this week. That's up there in Priest Lake. The center valleys are done. We are hauling rock right now out onto Garfield Bay to get it ready. We did the cement treated base last week. We spent quite a bit of time out there till about 9 o'clock at night actually to get it done. So they're hauling rock on that. We should be paving that around the 19th of June. They'll be moving over to Vay Road. I want to say they're moving over there this Thursday is when they're gonna start the asphalt on Vay. So that'll be good to get that one knocked out. And then we still got quite a bit of work to do over on Monarch and Spades to get those ready for asphalt as well. You should be seeing people up Rapid Lightning sometime this week. They're gonna be starting that project back up.
Today.
So, yeah, we should be seeing them up there. Be nice to get that thing done and out of our hair this summer so we don't have to worry about it anymore. We're also gonna be meeting, I think it's next week, for the pre-construction of the the Pack River, I shouldn't say Pack River, the Colburn Culvert Bridge over Grouse Creek. So that one will be firing up here shortly too. So I should have that pre-construction meeting. I think it's next week that I have that. I have one with ITD also for the US 2 bridge. They're gonna be routing some traffic, so I'll be meeting with them. I think that's later this week. Sounds like we got budget stuff on Thursday. Be looking forward to getting that moving through so we can get beyond this point and get moving with that. And then our Larch Street project. That one, we are hauling gravel out on it this week. It'll be scheduled to do the first application at BST next Tuesday, so we can get that done. Then we'll move into our chip seal program, come back in BST get once more, once our chip seal program is over, and that'll wrap that project up for this year. But yeah, we got a lot of things going on right now and staying pretty busy. So that's about what I got going right now that I can think off the top of my head. I also have 2 open positions. I had 2 employees quit last week. One went to work for the city of Sandpoint. The other one started his own construction business and doing sounds like they were doing some mobile cook thing where he makes tacos or something. So I do have 2 full-time positions that just come open, so I'll be looking to steal any employees I can from all of your offices. Just letting you know. They are operator 1s. Are you interested?
I've never done it.
There you go.
There you go. Jason, can I ask you where you guys are at on your dust abatement?
Dust abatement has just started. We just started doing that. We just got all the frac tanks last week moved in. It's been a little slow process on that with the new company not wanting to talk between each other to get things moved around. So they have started the MAG program. It's going to be probably 3 weeks before it's finished. We have 1 MAG truck right now that's down with computer issues that we're working on trying to find that bug. But District 3 and District 2 are both running right now. District 1 should be running sometime this week, is what they're hoping.
I hear my phone ringing right now.
Yeah, mine doesn't shut up when it comes to dust. People that want it, even if they don't make the qualifications to get it, right down to not being able to afford to keep it moving. So it'll be interesting to have that conversation on where you guys are wanting to go next year with this program.
Budget is a challenge.
Yeah, changing products is a bigger challenge. So.
All right, thanks, Jason. Solid waste, Melissa.
Hello. So just the big thing was the Colburn 3 table was placed back 3 weeks ago. And then the one out in Laclede at the Midway site will be out probably by the end of next week. They're still having to put some metal on the top. Lakeview was emptied for the first time this year, which took 2 of our employees and 2 of waste management staff the entire day to get that cleaned up. Plus there was some breakdowns on waste management's part. Our new container delivery truck was delivered last week. Our budget's looking fine. Our sites have been extremely busy, very, very busy. Our site attendants are doing a fantastic job dealing with all the traffic. We have an interview scheduled for a seasonal site attendant up at Dickens Street. And our new administrative assistant started 2 weeks ago, so I've been working on training her. She's doing a fantastic job. And then I am also trying to do some research on a point of sale system for some of our busier sites to alleviate handwriting receipts, because that's taking a lot of time at Colburn, since there's mostly commercial customers out there that have the house accounts, which holds up lines. So I don't know anything about point of sale systems. So I reached out to Clarissa in IT, and I guess DMV has a system they just put in. So I'm going to go out and talk to Julian and see how it's working for her. So other than that, that's about it. Bob is on vacation this week. So.
All right, thank you. Yeah, that's great to talk with another department that's having hopefully success with the system.
Yes.
So, appreciate that. All right, technology, Jake.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, just to follow up on the last part of Melissa's comment with the point of sale, the vendor that we use, we're still in the process of installing them out there, but they seem to work very well. So I think they'll fit Melissa's needs over there. We just have to make sure our internet out there is capable and all that stuff, but the vendor is very helpful, so.
Yeah, and I did speak with vendor Jacob. He was great. They just don't have anything for house accounts, but they feel like they can build something.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Some of the stuff that we've been working on, I'm pretty proud of our department and what we've done as far as building our own internal knowledge base. So we've been meeting with departments to kind of go over what our internal knowledge base looks like. It's called Bookstack. Daniel's been meeting with staff to help provide a centralized repository of documentation. We use it for standard operating procedures. For us internally, we'd like to extend that to every department that we can. It's in-house, stored only by us, and it can be very compartmentalized or shareable or however we'd like to kind of implement it, but I think it's really great. Our budget it got pushed back until the 9th. Eager to get in and meet with the three of you. We've already started planning. I say planning as the operative word. More concerned with the renewal of our firewalls in 2028. It was a 5-year renewal term, but now we're looking at the budget. We want to make sure that we're on track for that. We've completed a cost analysis for the Microsoft migration. And as part of my needs from the BOCC, I would like to get all three of you in a room, whoever needs to be in a room, because we need to discuss what we're going to do and how we're going to migrate. It's now June. I wanted to start this process now, or basically as soon as Bo gets back from vacation. He's on vacation. But we have a pretty detailed breakdown of costs, what it's going to be. So this fiscal year, we should have, with all we've been very, very frugal in what we've been spending our expenses as far as software. So we should have the available funds to go ahead with the migration. But we need to really discuss what it's going to look like for public safety and handing off, whether we hand off email services or anything else to them. So that's the big chunk. And I did, within the last week and a half, I got our vendor ready to go, sent out some times to Commissioner Williams, and I didn't get a reply back. I thought we were going to have a meeting set up where the vendor can come in, ask questions, give whoever, and my thought was just our commissioners in our department, but whoever needs to be involved, they can answer questions on the statement of work and the process and the timeline that all this stuff is going to happen. So we are very eager to get that going. And however it works best, if I need to get a hold of Elisa or Veronica or anybody and get that on your guys' schedules, I'd like to do that ASAP.
I suggest working with staff.
Okay.
Because the calendar is very challenging, so
Right.
the sooner you get it on our calendar, the better.
Right. As far as development goes, we would like to apply a default background to all user desktops. And I know a lot of people do fancy, some people have different desktop backgrounds. The purpose of the desktop background is to accommodate BG info. It's background info. It allows us to add computer-specific information to the top right of the desktop. We can still do that, and you can customize your background. It just makes it easier to read, and we'd like to do this for the purposes of when we have to reach out to troubleshoot. Certain information is at a glance for the end user. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's something that we don't have to ask somebody to go in and look up through the command prompt or otherwise. But we would like to do that. We've tested it in our department. I have it. I've used it a lot of other places that I've worked. Background info is usually on the desktop screens anyway. So if nobody has a problem with it, I'd like to kind of push that out. Does anybody object? Does anybody even care or even know what I'm talking about? It displays like your IP address, like your host name, that kind of stuff.
So to clarify, are you saying that people can still select an image if they want on their background?
Correct.
While
Correct.
you have the data you're looking for in the upper right corner?
Yeah, we've seen most, A lot of users, not all, a lot of users still use the generic Windows 11 desktop background. Some people don't. Some people have swans.
My opinion is whatever allows the IT department to do their job the most efficiently is the right approach.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
background pictures of kittens or mountains need to be adapted to accommodate that, then I think we can live with it.
Okay. It's just, we put together just the Bonner County seal logo, blue, with some information in the top right-hand corner. That's all it is. So we'd like to do that. We've tested it. It's really easy to push forward. We have been, I was made aware that we have AI policy already in place. Clerk Rosedale has AI policy. Last I spoke with, Jessica's not in here. Last I spoke with Jessica, I was thinking that the AI policy was going to be more for the entire county as a whole, as opposed to just the clerk's office. And Assessor Engelhardt had looped me in on his AI policy. I think it's fantastic. I thought it was awesome. I did receive, about a month ago, I received a sample iCrimp AI policy, and I had spoken with Christian about it. I'll have to go back and check, but I've spoken with Asia about it briefly, and I think it'd be great for the county as a whole. I can safely assume most everybody, maybe even in this room, uses AI to some extent, whether it to be concise and clear in emails and clean up email drafts and all that kind of stuff. But if we're going to be using it, we would rather have a little more control over it, as opposed to just opening up your browser and just typing whatever you want into ChatGPT or Grok or whatever you're going to use. And what Assessor Engelhardt's done is he's clearly defined how it will be used. And then the only concerns we have is how to, if there's any confidential information that's entered, how do we verify that even happened? Because if we're just using ChatGPT as a web interface, it's not recorded, right? Unless you create an account, and then are we using our county emails to create accounts? I personally don't believe we should. We have the ability, and Daniel has actually done some testing. It's been months. I've told him to put it on the back burner, but we have the opportunity to kind of demo our in-house AI and its capability on how we can create user accounts, if people are going to sign this and use it, and then also have the ability to use the functionality of ChatGPT. So in other words, it won't just be something that's on premise that we manage and maintain. There is that component, but what you get with ChatGPT versus what you can provide for yourself in-house it's much smarter. It's much smarter. So if we do that, though, there's the paid component, which is, it's all based on tokens, and that's calculated by the amount of text you use. So the cheapest way to get around doing that, and I realize there has to be discussion of do we want to pay for this? Well, if we don't, then how are we using it, and how are we going to uphold the policy if we can't verify what someone did or didn't do? So those are.
Yeah. So
free and charge, what's the difference in PII and HIPAA?
So guys, hold on, please. We need to conclude this meeting so we can start our next meeting. This is a very pertinent and important conversation, in my opinion. We should schedule a meeting just to discuss this topic. Would you please, Director, work with BOCC staff to get a meeting scheduled for all the electeds and department heads so we can have a focused conversation on this topic?
It's great.
We can present the pros and cons. We can look at examples of what's already being utilized, and it's definitely an important conversation, but we're up against the schedule right now.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. Anything else you want to use to conclude your department?
That's it. You'll be hearing from me.
All right, and last we have Veteran Services.
I had lots of veterans to come visit. I did a bunch of outreach and volunteer stuff. I got to hand out scholarships at the high school. I was on the radio show with Barbara Carpenter. I did a Memorial Day presentation at the Sandpoint Library. I teamed with the VFW and Cedar Hills Church to cut and stack firewood for veterans. I think we're over 25 cords. And then again, I teamed with the VFW and Daughters of the American Revolution to provide a meal for veterans after the 2 services that they hosted on Memorial Day. All my D-budget concerns, the commission as well, the commission, auditing, and HR are all aware of. And if you take away Matt's half of care, or you give Matt the other half of an employee, I will gladly take the other half. No need to Solomon.
But yeah. You can see that as an equation for us, we'll consider.
Carry the one. And I'll leave you with, whether a soldier on the battlefield, a staff member meeting with customers, or an engineer building a key component, those doing the frontline work have valuable insights from Colin Powell. Now you can conclude.
Thank you, Director. Okay, does anybody have a pertinent and urgent closing comment or statement before we adjourn? All right, great. We are concluded then. It's 11 o'clock, so